What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. What's going on with this Pop the Balloon show? It's honestly just getting worse and worse, and it keeps showing the flaws and the bad decision making and the hypocrisy in Black America and Black culture. And I'm starting to think it's just really just not even beneficial. It's negative, but I know that we love negative entertainment, so people don't really see it. But first of all, like and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you're watching this via audio, please leave a rating on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, whatever you hear this on, or go check us out on there if you don't feel like sitting here and looking at my face all day. But yeah, Pop the Balloon show. I don't know what's going on with it, but let's talk about it. All right, so if you don't remember, Ninja Turtle guy who went viral not too many weeks ago, there seems to be a trend where the people pick out a specific person and they kind of put them on blast on social media, because once you have a narrative, people just keep running with it. And right now there's a narrative about the way dudes talk to women on this show, and we have another dude, and things look so good for this man named Brian until he started discussing he doesn't have any deal breakers, which you would think is positive, right? But let's take a look.
You know, I like to do country things. I like to read. I'm from the ghetto, but I am a nerd. Okay, I like to read. I want to know about things that I don't know. Okay, I like to go lounges, right? I like to go to museums.
Now, what are some things that you're looking for in a woman?
Transparency, for sure. Transparency.
Okay.
If I can't see who you are when I meet you, then I would never know, right? Loyalty. That really, for men, that's a big thing. Loyalty. I need to know when you out partying, having a good time, that you loyalty and you faithful to a man like me.
Okay. Now, what are some of your deal breakers?
Deal breakers? I really don't have deal breakers, right? Because I'm from the ghetto, so I understand that, you know, we do a lot of things in our past and in our youth that is really a problem. So I don't really have any deal breakers. But as far as deal breakers,
Now, you would think that if a guy doesn't have any deal breakers, your first thought will come to mind is, okay, you know, maybe he's open-minded. Usually females have this issue where they're being judged by their past. And in our community, you know, the past holds a lot of weight to a lot of people, especially nowadays, because body count matters. So typically we judge women by their past. At least that's kind of the norm. So you don't really hear too often that a guy isn't going to judge you by your past. So it makes you curious to understand, why all these women win and pop their balloons? But let's let them explain it.
If we can have your name and age.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Parker, but I go by Mrs.
okay.
I'm 39, and
You say you're 39?
39.
All right.
And Mrs. Parker, what do you do?
I'm a professional makeup artist.
A makeup artist?
Yeah, shout out to Makeup by Mrs. Parker.
All right. And Mrs., why did you end up popping your balloon?
I popped your balloon because you said you don't have any deal breakers, and everybody has to have some type of deal breaker, so you have to have something that you don't like. But you look really nice. You look dapper. Nice to meet you.
It's definitely nice to meet you. When it comes to deal breakers, I'm not a surface level dating type of guy, right?
Okay.
I don't really care about your past. I'm from the ghetto. I'm from New Orleans, right? So nothing that you've done in your past doesn't matter to me, because that was before me. After me, that's when you upgrade yourself. So that's why I said I don't have any deal breakers, because I don't want to say that, hey, you know, you're not my type because of what you've done in your past, not knowing that that wasn't right or wrong.
Now, that's kind of different to hear. You know, I think that we kind of have to ease up on people's past, but it's something you hold dearly as a man. So for this guy to say that, that's kind of a different, unique perspective. But as you kind of go on, you start to see more of the flaws in people's thinking when it comes to dating preferences. And then you'll see as to why a lot of people have these issues where they can't find a consistent partner. And I really think in the Black community and a lot of other communities, maybe, we got to really start checking ourselves and our preferences and the way we frame things to frame these thought processes that we have. And as you see, as we go down the line, a lot of these women were justifying their mistakes and really promoting that single motherhood movement, which has never been beneficial to Black people and always been the most detrimental thing that happened to the Black community. But you can kind of start seeing why. And I don't want to speak about Black women in such a negative light, but this is the issues and where they transpire from and why some of this thinking has to be fixed.
We can have your name and age.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and I'm 37. I'm from New Orleans as well, and I live in the DMV. And the reason why I popped my balloon is because I am from New Orleans, and just the energy just wasn't vibing with. Like, I think you're super cool. I love the way that you look. But as far as like energy, I feel like I've dated guys from New Orleans before and it just did not work out for me. So I think because we come from the same place, it just clashes.
Okay. So since we come from the same place, it clashes.
Yeah.
You know,
I just haven't had really good relationship experiences dating people from my hometown.
you never met Brian. You never met Brian, but today that you did. You know what I mean? And today, definitely, you was a winner. But, you know, the fact that you're from New Orleans, I respect that because I respect my home, and I'm prideful on being a Louisianimal, right? And I definitely was feeling you. But,
thank you.
you know,
Like I
since you
said,
popped
you're
on
very
me,
handsome.
we don't really deal with rejection too well. We respect that, you know, but we move on.
Outside of that, you know, when we try to qualify people based on where they're from, you got to be selective because some people do fall into the propaganda of where they're from, but not everybody that's from a certain place, you can categorize them in that place. Like, depending on the demographic of how big New Orleans is, it's literally impossible to say everybody from there is the same exact person. So that is kind of a small-minded answer, and it's kind of just justifying that you don't really want to change your preference and you're not really being open-minded to the situation, because even if he would have judged them by their past, they would have still popped the balloon, but he even gave them a little bit of grace. And then he'll explain to you later why he doesn't judge people by their past. And then everyone's kind of like, oh, that actually makes sense. But when the show is rolling, nobody seems to want to make sense of anything because there's still how we adults still judging people off of energy and where you're from. To me, that's kind of the most lamest thing to do. I would think that the best thing to do is be the person who's from where you're from, because if you have children, at least your family's in close proximity, but maybe nobody's thinking that way. And I get it. Some people have issues with their hometowns, but to say someone from a town with millions of people is just like everyone is almost small-minded, and it's just an excuse, but you could have used a better one. But if you thought that was bad, now we get into the woman, and this goes even more further down the immaturity rabbit hole, where this woman judges this man based off his genes. That's kind of sparking the controversy on social media.
Okay, and why did you end up popping your balloon for Brian?
Hey, Brian. I love the way you speak, but for me, it was the pants. I don't like the pants too tight. I'm kind of ghetto, too, so I like them a little loose, and that was just it for me.
Okay. How old are you?
34.
You're 34? How many kids you got?
I got 3.
You got 3?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have 3.
You got 3 baby daddies. Okay.
I should have said 0, because it's just me.
You gonna lie to the public?
No, I have 3, but it's just me. I'm a single parent.
Okay.
There's no man in my life.
Okay. No man in your life?
Nope.
Why is the
my
reason
boys.
for there no man in your life?
Well, my first child, his father passed away, and the other 2 are nowhere to be found. So, what can you do?
They do you like that? What's wrong with them?
Something. Only God knows.
Or is there something wrong with you?
Possibly, but I think I'm just fine.
I think you're just fine as well.
Thank you.
Right. But to say that a 41-year-old man is disqualified because of his pants,
You're 41?
I'll be 41 in September.
Okay, because I was like, I thought you said 40.
Now, the next woman that comes up makes it even more interesting, because not only are priorities completely off in our community, I mean, I feel like if you're a person who has 3 children from 3 different people, granted, one of them passed away, but when your focus is on the way someone's pants looks and not really getting a stable household back together, or a man who's not really going to judge you for having 3 kids, knowing how today's time is, the biggest problem is fatherless households. So when you're still at this age and you have 3 fatherless children, you're judging men off the bagginess of their pants. It just shows priority, and it shows that we value materialism over actual issues that can fix things that are way long past materialism. So our priorities are really off, and it kind of shows. Now, the narrative that people are trying to paint is that he's asking too many questions, because I really feel like this is a show that women enjoy more than men, because of how you get the opportunity to bash men in a group setting and do it so harshly where you can't even defend yourself too much because, oh, move on to the next person, or don't do too much. So I believe women do enjoy the show because you get to watch, you know, it's drama. Essentially, it's drama. But these are also good questions. But from the narrative I'm painting, from an independent thinker, and I'm thinking critically, it just highlights even worse the issues in the Black community. But this next one will even emphasize even more the issues we have with single parent households and how they're starting to be embraced a little bit too much.
Cool. And why did you end up popping your balloon?
I'm a free-spirited woman, so having to check in with somebody like they are my parent is something that I don't subscribe to, so that's why I popped my balloon.
What do you mean check in like they're your parent?
The way that you were discussing how somebody needs to constantly, when we're out and about, to text or call and check in, that's something that I don't subscribe to. So that's why I pop my balloon.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm a TikTok creator manager.
TikTok creator manager? For what company? Or is it for yourself?
It's for TikTok.
For TikTok?
Social media.
Okay. Social media?
Social media agent, yes.
Okay. How many kids you have?
I have 2.
How many baby daddies?
2.
2? Okay. So you didn't think after the first one that you wanted to marry the next one?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. I was just asking because for real men, that's what matters. Your first one is given. Your second one, the mistake is on you.
Oh, is it? Well, there's
That's definitely
circumstances
right.
under why I got
That's
pregnant.
definitely
but
right.
That's nor here or there, and that's
Yeah,
not
but
what I'm here for.
Okay, definitely. You're a beautiful woman, though.
Thank you.
But I respect your answer.
As you can see, the instant level of popping, as soon as he said the second one is basically your fault. Because a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for the mishavings of just having children out of wedlock over and over and over and over again. We have zero accountability in the black community for creating these broken households. And as you can see, a lot of women sometimes have the issues too. And I'm not going to speak about this from the dating perspective. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of red pill content guys who can cover this and, oh yeah, she just doesn't want to be texted while she's out because she's sneaky. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the narrative that is being painted in black America based on these type of shows highlighting this level of ignorance on display as entertainment. People who go on shows like this and justify the reason that they can have multiple kids and never take any of the relationships serious. This is the problem that I'm having. And then when people come, though his tone may not be the best, his tone may not be social media appropriate, the answers to the questions are just mind-boggling. And then I'll even show you why he claims to have asked these questions over and over again.
Well, the reason for me asking their past about the baby daddies because it lets me know where they're going in their future. If you didn't want to have a baby daddy for the second time, then that lets me know that you was uncareful of what you're dealing with.
Do you necessarily believe that somebody's past is their past that don't determine their future? Because I mean, I can look at you and say like you made people make mistakes. And it could happen. I feel like once or twice, okay, some things become a choice, but your past doesn't determine.
When it comes to once is a mistake. Twice, that's on you.
Okay, so then say like you get into a relationship with somebody, you get married, and things don't work. So then I guess you made a mistake? And then so you once is a mistake and then twice is, I don't believe in that because I believe things happen.
Sweetheart, twice is on you.
Okay.
You should have learned from that very first mistake. Okay, and not saying that your child is a mistake, right?
Of course
But the
not.
fact that you chose the wrong man to have kids with, and secondly, not to have a marriage after the next one or before the next one.
Marriage doesn't determine, and I'm a person that wants to be married, but marriage don't determine anything. I done known people to be married for a long time and it don't work out, baby. So yeah, you are, no, honey bun, you're too aggressive now.
You see how we can keep justifying the fact that we as a black community, this is what it says. When you look at it from the higher scope, this is what it says about us as a nation, that we keep making mistakes and there's nothing you can do to fix it because people just make mistakes. We just don't have a good pick of the litter. We just keep making mistakes over and over and over again. And marriage is not going to save anything when it has been proven countless times what two-parent households does. And people don't understand that blacks had the highest marriage rates and that transferred it to us having two-parent households. And we are thriving economically. So when we keep justifying this is the narrative that keeps getting painted towards the future. Now, when you have a man asking you a question like, yo, this second time is a mistake, because I can personally agree. I'm a parent. If I was to go out there and keep having more children and not asking the right questions, doing it out of wedlock, doing it too fast, and saying, well, it was just a mistake. It takes two to tango. How can you mistakenly keep having sex with a person over and over and over again who isn't qualified on the level to be the person that you just avoided the last time? So to keep saying that it's a mistake is just genuinely an excuse for not wanting to pay attention to the mistakes that you're making. If you thought that was worse, it gets even worse, the excuse to keep making broken households.
But then it started to feel like an attack, and I didn't like or agree with the attack. So that was why I popped my balloon.
Okay. So you say it felt like an attack. Can you elaborate on that?
You don't judge people from their past, or you like to start off with a clean slate. I don't think that if a relationship works out for a woman and it happens to be her second baby daddy per se, I don't think that's her fault. So if she decides to stay and marry the man, like Brian says, then that means she's settling. And I don't agree with a woman having to settle just because the opinions of others thinking that, it's going to be her fault. It's her fault because it didn't work out. No. Okay. Because people, they start off with different personas, and then you slowly kind of learn who they really are. So if you decide to walk away because that situation isn't healthy for you, that doesn't mean that it's your fault that it didn't work out.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if you thought that was just bad, it just goes to show that when you leave your second child's father because you don't want to settle, this is the problem where we don't have any urgency to keep a strong family, because we keep taking our own image and ego and feelings and separating from the fact that you now created a child who needs you more than you need that independence you so-called want to have, because people keep wanting to explore options. So a lot of times people keep contradicting themselves by saying, well, it's settling if you stay, and then saying it's a mistake if you keep making a mistake, but then you're saying you settle if you stay, but then you call it a mistake when you do it again. It's a lot of contradiction. So when you think about all this stuff, and it's like really just having babies with multiple different guys, never really settling down, it's almost like, who can we really blame for this stuff? Because there's a lot of females who are advocates for this stuff too, but they don't really understand that they're advocating for the single parent household, advocating for it. When she said it feels like an attack, this is how women speak differently than men do. So sometimes a man confronting a woman may seem like an attack. This is why we have to stop confronting women in this manner, because they don't speak the same language we do. So this often does feel like an attack, and this is why these conversations get us nowhere. This is why these dating shows get the black community nowhere. It does us no justice being in these type of environments, confronting women on a major platform, continuously embarrassing and degrading our culture subconsciously creating the divide and making it worse. Because we realize that these women have flaws. They shouldn't be on these dating shows in the first place. They should be at home trying to find love in different places. They should be finding people on the same balance and same situation that they're in, based on if you have multiple children, based on if you've been through so amount of divorces, based on if you haven't been married. But yet you keep putting ourselves in environments with people who are not on the same playing field, and we just continue to embarrass each other. And then the world seeks laughter out of the embarrassment on black culture. We continuously embarrass ourselves on these shows, and the world sees it as entertainment. Our struggles and our trauma, the world has been seeing it as entertainment because of shows like Pop the Balloon. Whenever a woman goes up there and they degrade a man for what he's wearing, how he looks, how he talks, it's entertainment. Whenever a woman goes up there, she has a certain amount of kids, ain't with the kid's father, she is degraded. Whenever a woman goes up there, she doesn't have certain things going on, she doesn't look a certain type of way, she's oversized, she's black, degraded, entertainment. We have to stop using black struggle and black trauma as entertainment, because it is only funny to everybody else. No one's laughing with us. We look like fools. We have to stop going up there talking down on our woman. Pull a woman aside. When everyone's talking about what a real man would do, if you care about your culture, but we became so desensitized to caring about our culture that we don't see the importance of pulling a sister to the side and say, hey, let's have a conversation about this. This should not be broadcasted in front of millions of people where I'm going to put on display your falsehoods and your traumas. Now, some may say I'm doing the same thing, but what I'm trying to do is spread awareness to the false and the mishavings of the black mind, and the mishavings of even men too, who are trying to correct these women, but in different manners. Now, I'm not an advocate. I can never advocate for anything where people are trying to push single parent households and, promote the struggle. Some people got to get put on display. Not everybody deserves respect, because some people don't respect themselves. But what we have to stop doing is making a mockery. This is my problem with these shows, is we keep making a mockery. And that's why my tone is everything. Some people's tone is more comedic. Some people's tone is more serious. Some people's tone is more about awareness. My tone is more about awareness to the major issue, outside of this being a form of entertainment. Why is black degeneracy a form of entertainment always? Why is our struggle always a form of entertainment? Why did they not start a show about couples that are already married doing well? Because that's not entertaining. Success is not entertaining, because success to us looks like independence. As the good sis said, well, You're settling if you don't really want to be with the man you had a second kid with. That's settling. When you keep your family together is settling. So you always have to think about what people are saying under the undertone. When you tell the world, if you don't want to be with the second man you had a kid with, the second different one, because you're settling, that is delusion. That's the delusion. What you're saying is you don't have to keep your family together if you don't want to, because you had the kid, went through the relationship, birthed this baby for 9 months. Now, if you feel like you're settling, break the family up and go get you another man and do it all over again. Until you feel like you're at a place where you don't even want to have no more kids because you're tired of making the mistakes. Now you can just require the things you want out of a man, but not fix the relationships you have with all these other men and let these kids grow up with trauma, questioning who their dad is and fighting you for it, because now everybody's confused. You have 3 different generations that are now confused based off you feeling like you don't have to settle. After you already put yourself in a situation. When you have children, the compromise should be stapled. Now, we both did this. Now let's raise this child because we know the benefits are more worse than they are good if we separate, especially in Black America. But as I always say, you guys let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Leave a review. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I don't want to take away from what this young lady is doing with her show, because I wish her nothing but success, because the show is doing great. But what I always have to call out is when people try to put Black trauma on display. We got to stop that. We can't let that happen no more. It's getting old. It's getting worn out. And me personally, I can't take it. But you let me know your thoughts. It's your boy Dre. I'm gone. Peace.